Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how reality changes and become more energetic when we start to awaken. And in my experience, it was an initial awakening, and then I was free of the thought world, and I was just being, and it was an amazing experience until sort of the old reality or the ego or the matrix started to crumble. And in that time, I started to become aware of how the conceptual world, I would never describe it this way when I woke up, because I had no way I could put words onto what I was experiencing. But now I can try to put it into words because I understand more of what was going on. But the sort of the thought filter that I learned to put onto reality around me when I was a child, I started to see that the concepts and the stories and ideas about the world around me was nothing but ideas and stories and concepts. Of course, it has this function to call a chair, or a coffee cup, right? It has a function in terms of communication and in terms of functionality in this reality. So the mind is genius in that sense. But in a natural reality, these things exist as just pure physical shapes and forms, right? And colors. And what we do is that we learn to put a thought filter onto the world, so we can divide it up into objects with its own unique function that we associate with the object. And I remember when I started to wake up from these concepts in different areas of life, and I became aware of the energetic behind it. And it's not like, it's like everything is energy, right? Even science says this. But I became aware of how things really made me feel. I didn't see it as a pure object separate from myself. I started to see how I related to the object and the energy I was sharing between me and the object, or the energy that how the energy of the object made me react. For example, I'm using the word object here, but it's everything. I became aware of how different food made me feel. I became aware of how certain music and certain people and certain media made me feel, right? I noticed how the energies behind these things. You can say that you became of the low vibrations, right? And this is how we become aware of how things actually make us feel. And the energy of everything around us, that we had learned to see that this is just how the world is. You know, we live in this matrix, we live in this fantasy that we believe to be real, the Maya or the illusion, right? And when we see through these illusions, we become aware of the actuality of them, and we become authentic. We're, in a sense, we're shown, and we're being honest with ourselves, how things really make us feel, right? And the things that we used to force ourselves to do or make ourselves doing, and where we used to like ignore our feelings, is now impossible because it's so prominent. We can feel so strongly how we are reacting to certain things. And so this is how we start to experience life unfiltered, because in essence, we are everything. Like I am everything. It's one infinite being experiencing everything, right? If you can put it into that terms. So you're actually not separate from everything, from anything. So, but before awakening, you might see something as separate to you. So you're somewhat able to keep it at a distance and push it away. But after awakening, you start to become aware of the field that we're in, that we're sharing, right? And this makes us experience life more unfiltered. We're not able to manipulate and construct reality in a way that we can push away the things in our mind, because we can feel it so strongly in our bodies, right? Because we are connected. And this sort of, for me, it was like a shock when I became so aware of things. And I knew this was authentic. I knew this was real, because it was like I was finally honest with myself about how things really made me feel. And this made me wanted to escape life, at least certain aspects of life. That was just so uncomfortable. So like, I cannot be there anymore. I cannot do this anymore, right? And I believe there's an intuition that guides us away from certain things and over to other things that align more with what feels authentic and natural to us. And then it gets harder and harder to push against the natural flow of life. At the same time, how we respond to the reality outside of us is actually also a reflection of what is triggered within us. So that's how we start to shadow work and how we start to integrate our emotions. So we can be at peace, even if things around us makes us enter as a negative feeling, right? So at some point we have to take responsibility of our own reactions to other feelings as well, and what is being triggered within us when we are around others and other situations. So what I wanted to say in this video is that everything is essentially energy, and we are sharing that energy. So that's why many of us, when we wake up, we become highly sensitive and we start to feel the emotions of other people as well. Maybe more than they do, right? We become aware of how they feel more than they do. You know, I can feel when the people around me are angry because I feel it in my body as well. And I can also feel my reaction to that, which is fear. So this is how, when we are going to integrate the shadow self, is always this allowing emotions to flow through us, allowing the energy to flow through us. Again, this is a dualistic experience, and essentially the energies that we feel that are making us uncomfortable, they're actually not dangerous. And the more I have learned to face this energy, the less reactive and the less strong aversion I have to these things now. Like earlier on, I couldn't eat meat for a long time because I felt that the energy behind meat was so dense and uncomfortable. But now I eat a little bit of meat and it's fine, you know. So it's this process where our reaction system, it's sort of like it's an engine that is it gets worse before it gets better. It gets stronger before it gets worse, or it gets worse before it gets better. And that's what I noticed with people as well, that I was very reactive around other people, and now I'm more at peace, I'm more detached, and I'm less reactive. Of course, I can feel that other people are uncomfortable, or I can feel that they're sad or things going on with them, but I'm not reactive in the same way. It's almost like it just moves through me and it's okay. I don't resist it anymore. And this is where essentially it comes down to, is to stop resisting life. And because we cannot control it anyway, we can't control others, we can't control our own reaction systems and how things triggers us. It's not something that we have chosen. It's something just how the world is. So becoming comfortable with the energetics and being honest with ourselves, and not trying to push and pull and manipulate reality to avoid the things we don't want to feel. And I teach this more in my program, and you can check it out in the link below. And until next time, much love and namaste.